Today we're going to be going over some great press releases for first-time or beginner wide receivers. Now in this video, you guys, we're going to go over the exact technique of the release, the name of the release, and then when to use it and show a full speed example of how you should use the release. So again, this is for beginners. These maybe won't be the most advanced releases for you guys, but as this video goes on, the releases are going to get more and more advanced, but I feel that all wide receivers can get this down no matter what skill level you're at. So we're going to be working the press release first, called a jab release. So this is going to be a front foot jab release. We want to use this when we have a DB who is lined up inside shade press. So let's say this blue cone is my line of scrimmage. We have a DB where the orange cone is. All it's going to be is you're just going to pick up your front foot and jab to the inside. So we're trying to make this DB think that we're trying to cross his face. Anytime the DB shows a leverage, we want to almost try to attack that leverage. So if he's inside shade, he doesn't want us to go to the inside. So if I want space off the ball, let's make him think that I'm trying to cross his face and go to the inside. So set, go. It's going to be one quick jab to the inside, and then we're back off. So we use it against inside shade press. It's called a single jab release. Going to show you how this should look full speed. Now, fellas, before we show the rest of these releases, if you are a wide receiver, even a quarterback, and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 14 different cities across the entire U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. If you guys would like to sign up to attend, check out that very first link in the description below. Next up, we're going to be heading out to Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, but all 4 of those camps, you guys, are completely sold out, and all the camps I'm about to list will sell out within the next 2 months. So make sure you take advantage of it. These camps sell out because we don't just take anybody and everybody. We limit spots so we can give each athlete individual coaching and individual attention from myself and my staff. Then we will be heading out, obviously, after our Austin, Texas camp to Las Vegas, Nevada, Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Illinois, Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off the tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some information, want to learn how you can sign up, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now this next release we're going to be going over, you guys, is called a crossover release, and it's going to be adding on one extra step from that single jab release that we did just a second ago. So we want to do this whenever I have to take an inside release versus a head up press coverage DB. So this is like if I have head up press, which means the DB is right in front of me. He's not showing a leverage. Remember last time we talked about inside leverage, doesn't want me to go inside. Next we're going to talk about outside leverage in a second, doesn't want me to go outside. But what if he's right in front of my face? That's a gift as a wide receiver, you guys, because really we could just release to wherever the route is breaking towards. If I'm running an out route, I can take an outside release. If I'm running an in route, a post route, I can take an inside release. So we want to make it look the same. So all it is a jab here, fake outside, then back to the inside. So it's just a 1-2. Your feet should sound like this, pop, pop, and we're taking that inside release. So remember, it's against head up coverage, 1-2, inside release, and then we're up into our route. So we're going to show you how this should look full speed. Now this next release is also going to be for head up press coverage, you guys. Now, the reason why I go over this release and I went over that crossover first is because sometimes DBs, when they're in head up coverage, they're trying to disguise their leverage. So this might be a little bit advanced for some of you beginners, but this is something you will see if you stick with football for generally just any extended period of time. But DBs will come out, they'll line up head up press, ball is snapped, you're getting into their release, and they might jump to inside shade. So that's why that crossover may not work every single time. There are variations of it that we could get into later that will help you build off of that crossover if a DB does this. But let's say set, go, we come off 1-2, DB jumps to the inside. He's trying to disguise his inside leverage. That's like, oh crap, I don't want to go run into him, then I'm jammed. So another release, if you're comfortable with this, and you may like this if you notice that the DB does like to change up what he's doing, is called a split release. So a split release is exactly how it sounds. You're going to bring your front foot out, back foot up, and you're going to split your feet, and you're going to come to balance for a split second. At that split second, you are reading this DB and seeing how he is going to play. So you split like this, he sits to the end, he stays. Like let's say he just stays head up. Okay, cool, I give a little move and take the inside release. Let's say I do my split release and he shades to the inside. Because both feet are grounded, I've come to balance, he shades to the inside. Okay, cool, I can take the outside release, and then vice versa if he jumps outside leverage. So the split release is a great way to react off of a DB who's in head up press if he likes to disguise what he's doing, and maybe he's more on the talented side of things. So we're going to show you how this release should look full speed. Now this next release will be in a situation where we have a DB who's inside shade, man-to-man coverage, but he's about 2 to 3 yards away. So again, blue cone's the line of scrimmage, orange cone is where the DB is. So if I'm lined up here, I call this a 4-step release. Super simple name because that's how many steps that you are gonna be taking. But the key is, you guys, whenever I'm facing press and the guy's right up in my face, he's closing the distance for me. Sometimes what DBs will play is something called catch technique, which is where they're about 2 to 3 yards away. And essentially what they want the wide receiver to do is force a release, try to run around the DB so they could catch us and get hands on us. So like what he's hoping is that this wide receiver right here in this situation would just be like, okay, he's far away, I gotta go get up into my route, and they just try to run off. And if they do that, this guy's gonna cut off that angle because there is space between the two of you, get hands into me, and force me to the sideline, force me to the inside, depending on what leverage he is playing. So like if he's right up in my face, I could easily give him a move and then I could get right past him and try to work to stack. That's always the goal versus press coverage, is stacking the defender where he is trailing behind us. So I can get to the top of the route, maybe give a move, maybe I peek back and I cut the opposite way, whatever. There's a million different moves that you could use, but that's always the goal, is to get him stacked. So to get him stacked and to not allow him to reroute us, off the line, we gotta close the distance. I wanna take this line of scrimmage and I wanna bring that line of scrimmage right to his toes. So if I could do that, then give a move, I'm more likely to stack, or at least have him right on my hip and not reroute me to the sideline. So this release, again, it's called a 4-step release, because that's exactly how it sounds. You're gonna take your back foot, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're using that same crossover move that we talked about earlier on in this video, but now we're stepping with the outside foot first, then faking back to the inside. You can use this in the red zone or any given situation where you have a DB who's inside shade about 2 to 3 yards away. So I'm gonna show you how this should look full speed. Now fellas, if you're a wide receiver and this seems a little bit overwhelming for you and you don't know how to necessarily work on these aspects of your game, check out that second link in the description below for our Elite Wide Receiver Training Package. What you'll get access to is 2 months of daily workouts for wide receivers in the gym and on the field. We map it out and give you video examples of each drill, each gym exercise. We map it out like Monday you're doing this, Tuesday that, Wednesday that, etc. So if you guys would like some more information on how you can get access to that, again, second link in that description below.